Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
My duty and the sacred duty of every elected official in this chamber is to defend Americans, to protect their safety, their families, their communities, and their right to the American dream. Because Americans are dreamers too.
Yes, we are.
You need to grow up.
Why is it duty?
Duty.
The
sacred duty of the president.
And he has some huge duty.
The biggest.
The best.
Big water. Big water.
March 8th.
Holy cow, you're loud. I hope everybody's happy.
Okay, I'll stand back a little bit. We're in the Freedom Studios on the 15th floor of the Patriot Towers in Liberty City. Nate, do you have where we're at?
Tasmania?
No, we're not in Tasmania, are we?
Europe?
We're in Europe.
Eurasia.
What's the capital of Europe?
Greece?
No, I think it's Bismarck.
South Dakota, the state that borders Canada.
Right. Screw North Dakota. We don't care about them. No, we do. We really do.
I like North Dakota.
I did too.
West Dakota.
I drove through North Dakota on the way to go hunting snow geese in Saskatchewan, and I should have stayed in North Dakota because there seemed to be a lot more geese there.
Were there?
Yeah. No, there were a lot.
Did you get any?
No, we didn't.
That's a bummer.
Which is odd. Yeah, they had a big die-off in the spring. A lot of the young ducks froze out because they had a rough, cold spring.
I think we need government management of ducks.
Believe me, it is. 3 countries manage migratory waterfowl. Mexico, the one in the between, and Canada. Second Amendment March, we'll plug that, is June 20th?
Yes.
20th?
Yep.
Go to 2amarch.com for updates. Keep checking that. We'll have a list of speakers and other events and stuff.
Yeah. I think, although we should verify this before we put it out on the internet, but I think our guest today, we're going to have a guest, Jim Makowski, I think he will be participating again in the attorney panel at the March.
And he may speak for Michigan gun owners. I don't know.
Not sure.
He's their attorney as well. But yeah, Jim Makowski is going to be our guest. He's a firearms attorney. He's going to talk about a recent lawsuit against Dick's Sporting Goods on their age discrimination. And that's all we'll say about that. That'll be a little later in the show. What do you want to talk about now? Assault weapons ban? How's that moving? Do you have any progress? Not so fast.
No progress.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go well.
I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but it's the normal every time there's a shooting sort of thing.
They dust it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see if this flies up again.
So speaking of that, I didn't see this on here. That teacher that's running for Congress, I think, in Virginia, that cut her AR-15, cut the barrel to make it an illegal firearm by federal law, and then said, it's okay, I turned it into the police, and then deleted the video, and then said a staffer deleted it, and she put it back on, it's back up there, whatever. I saw a local article from the Virginia Beach area that so it's really convoluted, but the local police chief said that the ATF is investigating the situation.
Why? What did she do wrong?
Well, she cut the barrel, and it's a felony to do that.
You mean you can't cut the barrel on your own gun?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? But I think it would be kind of ironic if somebody's screaming for more.
Ironic.
A little unique, kind of ironic. Could be more wrong about this. But if somebody's screaming so loudly for gun control and more gun laws gets caught by such a stupid law, because I guarantee you, lot of these anti-gun people, if she gets charged with anything, will say, that's a stupid law. You should be able to destroy guns.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
We agree on that.
But you know what they won't be saying?
No.
Give her the maximum.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Of course not.
But if she does get convicted, and she won't, it'll be a felony, and she probably won't be able to possess firearms.
Which is what she wants.
Right. Well, no, she said they're gun people. Just that she was not happy with her husband
because he bought an AR.
Because he brought an AR.
He bought this assault weapon into our home.
Oh, the whore. Other than that,
it's not funny. I know what you're doing. It's not funny.
Do you want to talk about the Oregon lawsuit? Because we'll wait until.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
Oregon.
It's Oregon.
Now we lost North Dakota today. We just lost Oregon today.
It's not Oregon.
It's
Oregon.
Next you'll be losing Nevada.
It's like a liver or a heart or a gallbladder. It's in Oregon. In Oregon.
I get it. Just moving on to Nevada to make them angry.
How do you say that?
And Illinois. Jeez.
The Little Drummer Boys from Illinois. Let's talk about the stabbing real quick.
There was a stabbing yesterday.
It's kind of sad.
Right, in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
16-year-old boy took some knives. I heard reports from kitchen knives to 16 to 20-inch knives.
Yeah.
Which could be a kitchen knife. I mean, it's a pretty big kitchen knife, but I don't know what kitchen.
Yeah. I think
Gordon
like
Ramsay probably
chef knife, and they're about 10 inches.
Yeah.
But it could be boning knife. They're smaller.
Went around in the school slashing people.
Yeah, it was Murraysville, Pennsylvania.
I said that.
I know. Well, yeah, he said he was tackled, or the kid was tackled by the assistant principal. I guess one of them.
And another student, I read.
Yeah, principal got wounded too or something.
Security guard did.
Yeah.
Trying to stop him.
20 people in a security.
It's crazy. I wonder if anyone had a gun that could have stopped the guy.
What's weird is they said almost all of them said they didn't see anyone coming at them. It apparently was a crowded hallway.
Yeah.
And they're going about their business, and they just sort of felt pain and realized they were bleeding. That's what knife wounds are. I've heard that you can be stabbed and not really realize what it is. So it sounds like this kid was just walking down the hallway with these knives, kind of, no one's paying him any attention, and he's just randomly sticking people.
Yeah.
Now, if he really, it could have been much worse. Someone argued, well, at least no one died. Well, somebody's in critical condition.
Not yet, as far as we know.
But I said, this was a 16-year-old punk kid that didn't really know how to use knives. Imagine somebody that really wanted to kill somebody. I'm not going to say how. But they could have.
You're not going to say, because you think, what?
Copycat. Because our audience is massive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we get all over, not North Dakota and Oregon anymore.
Here's or Nevada or Illinois.
Or Illinois.
I don't know why those people don't like us. Yeah, so
I do.
The doctor or director at the hospital or something, which was confusing because it's Forbes, and so I was confused because they kept saying like the director of Forbes, and I was like, what? Why is he talking about that? But it's Forbes Hospital, something like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. He said that most of the wounds were pretty consistent, like abdomen slashes.
So that's why it was so bad.
Well, I don't know how bad.
I read that there were both slashes and stabs.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some,
and
people had their arms injured and whatnot.
My old medical doctor, who was an Army doctor, he said he'd rather be slashed with a knife than stabbed any day.
Okay.
And I said, really? And he says, yeah. He says, when you stab somebody in the abdomen, he says, it's a mess in there because you don't know what they're cutting. And when you open them up, you've got to find all the little slice wounds.
Sure.
Try to stop bleeding. You
stitch it back to the right organ.
Well, that's
right.
But there's lots of damage, especially in the bowels.
Yeah.
He says slash. He says no matter how bad they're slashed, they can generally kind of just slap it together with some staples.
Sure. Yeah.
And call it good.
So I wonder. I don't know if we've heard yet, but did this guy play violent video games?
I don't know
because I'm hearing it again today.
And apparently he came from what we're hearing a stable house home with two parents. The parents said they were absolutely surprised.
Wait, so the dad was around?
Dad was around is what I'm hearing, Things change. They said he had a look on his face that was like crazy.
Why? That doesn't seem consistent with his actions. I mean, of course. Or did they mean before the state, like every day? Or just when he was running around trying to murder people?
And what did the attorney said he wasn't like a loner, that he got along good with people, but apparently not.
It's weird.
20 of them.
That's terrible. Yeah, it's horrible. Ugh.
So that's what I'm saying. You can't stop attacks on schools unless you have, right up there, I hope you can see it,
A poster?
a poster.
Well, they can't see it because this isn't live.
You can. Well, they can see it if they watch us on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, what? YouTube?
At Odd Show.
Listen,
something.
Brian, we're clearly an audio first show, right?
Yeah.
So you can't play to the camera when we're doing audio.
Why can't I?
It's awkward.
It's tough. I got to do both. And I'm going to talk.
You don't have to do both.
I'm going to talk about a raise because now I'm both in audio and video. I should get a little something extra.
You had one job today. That was to plug in our second mixer.
How'd I do?
You turned the lights off 3 times trying to plug it in.
Well, it's not childproof.
The lights.
No, I know it's not childproof.
That's true.
So you need somebody there, and they had a cop there, I guess.
Armed?
I'm guessing, but they probably didn't want to shoot the kid.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. And what's funny is I read other stories too. Unlike the shooting, and I get the difference. Somebody's actively shooting, you're less likely to render aid. But these students actually helped their students.
Yeah.
And they took their sweatshirts and clothing off and made compresses and tourniquets, and
they
actually helped people. And
pretty
instead of sheltering in place. And
it's pretty cool. I think it was
security
pretty
offer
quick, and they actually tackled the guy, and subdued him too.
Within minutes,
which I mean, he didn't like in Florida. I mean, the guy got out of the school and ran.
Right.
So nobody knew where he was, and it was
because everybody was hiding in classrooms, which makes sense. But again, somebody's running around stabbing you. I wouldn't want to be running around the hallway. Either.
Someone pulled a fire alarm. From what
nice,
I read, and
we're telling people
they said it was good.
Crazy guy with a knife. They're getting stabbed back there.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Our school in Bath, which is the largest mass murder, largest school killing in the United States, 1927, they used dynamite. Since that Parkland shooting, I think they've had 3 or 4 bomb scares where they've shut down the school in Bath.
That's crazy.
And I'll tell you, they take it real serious in Bath. When they say there's a bomb, they don't screw around.
Yeah. Although I don't think they had warning last time.
No.
I also don't think you'll get...
You know why? Because they didn't have the internet.
I don't think you'll get direct warning if somebody is going to blow the place up. I don't think you're going to get...
Usually it doesn't happen.
You're not going to get the phone call that says there's a bomb in there, you better run.
Yeah.
Usually it's just like...
That's kind of in the
boom.
That's kind of in the movies.
Yeah, right.
They might call afterwards.
There's a timer. It's counting down from 30 hours.
30? Oh. We can still have donuts and coffee. That wasn't appropriate?
No, it wasn't appropriate. Well, you mean the police?
Yeah, that's what
they
had plenty
that's
of
terrible.
Time.
It's
30 hours. That's a long time.
Quite a stereotype to say that the police enjoy coffee.
And donuts.
I think that's just true. Who doesn't?
I don't know anybody. I'm sure there are people out there. And if you're out there and you don't like donuts and coffee.
Yeah, please turn the show off now.
Oh, there goes our viewer. That was the one. All right. You want to do the Seattle?
Not really.
Okay.
Where is it? Yeah, go for it. Well, this is a good one.
Well,
I support it.
When I first... This is kind of the red flag thing that the state of Michigan, Governor Schneider's looking at trying to implement the red flag.
He's a cool guy.
They put in some kind of... somebody suggested, I think we should get 500 armed people and surround the state capitol and say, here's your red flag, Schneider. Here it is right here.
Yeah, that would work.
I don't know. All right, so in Seattle and other states, they have these ERPOs.
State of Seattle?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
What state is Chicago in? A state of violence.
Jeez.
ERPO, which stands for Extreme Risk Protection Order.
Ooh.
And there's a mechanism in the law. First, I didn't think they went through this, but they actually do go through a sort of a due process. But it sounds like the bar isn't very high.
Yeah.
They have to go to the court. They have to petition. But an individual can do it. Doesn't have to be law enforcement. If you think your neighbor's crazy, you can, under this law in Washington, you can just go to the court. You fill out some forms. You have a hearing. You have to convince the judge that there's a danger there, and then they pass it on to the police, then go and check. But the police can do it themselves, and the court can do it.
Lots of options.
But you don't know about it, and you don't have a chance to defend yourself until afterwards.
After the police show up and raid your house. What to do.
And the seizure of guns is an option. They don't have to take your guns. Depends on it. But in this case,
what would they do otherwise?
Well, they could just...
It's just a personal protection order?
No, it's not. They make that very clear. This is not a personal protection. This is investigating the individual to see whether he's competent enough to possess firearms.
Oh, I got you. And so their investigation might... They might say, no, he's fine.
He's the chief of police. He's nuts, but we're not going to take his guns.
Yeah, gotcha.
So they can check it, and if they perceive, this guy's nuts, we're going to, then they can take the guns. Now, if you refuse, if you're the person and you refuse, then they're supposed to then go back to a judge and get a warrant to search your house and take your firearms then.
Okay.
This is the first time they've actually seized with a warrant, I guess. They've had people voluntarily give their guns. In this case, though, it was the guy lived in an apartment building, and I guess he would walk up and down the hallway and around the neighborhood, and he would, get this, Nate, openly carry a handgun.
Oh, I'm glad they took him then.
Openly carry.
I've never met anybody that openly carried a handgun that deserved to keep them.
And it was a .25 caliber.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pretty dangerous.
Like James Bond.
He used a .380, I thought.
He had a little .25.
Well, who doesn't?
For a while.
You have that in your boot.
Well, and then they realized that's kind of small.
Gun.
Yeah.
But it is the preferred gun of the Israeli assassination squad. They use a .25 caliber when they pop you in the head. So anyways, and also he was staring at people. So it's pretty scary. And he was known around the neighborhood. He was like in an apartment above in downtown, and there were bars and restaurants and businesses on the street level, and he lived upstairs. And so he was well known to those people. There was a volume of complaints. Now, I've heard that before.
A volume.
When we've open carried and they've come to us, we've gotten many complaints about you open carrying.
Yeah.
How many? Well, one lady called.
Yeah.
That's a volume? Well, it is a volume.
It is a volume. Yep.
So I don't know what that means, but that's what they did.
Yeah.
And then it's good for a year. They take your guns away for a year, and there's nothing, I guess, you can do about it.
Okay.
Except in a year, and then maybe petition, but they can renew it for another year.
Where do your guns go?
They go to gun heaven.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. The cops use them to plant them after shootings when no one's armed.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say that?
He had a Beretta 418, 25 ACP. Little tiny guy.
Oh, that's a nice one.
That's
a boot gun. You keep that
this
in your
big.
boot.
You see this on the video?
Yeah, look at that. Big. That big. Can everybody out there see that? Now you're doing it. All my love, I will give to you.
Oh, it's been a day.
All right, so you want to go into tariffs?
Yeah, of course. I love tariffs.
No, you don't.
Hate taxes. Love tariffs.
I'm hearing a lot of stuff on both sides. There's some groups that say, "Oh, tariffs are great. It saves American jobs and it creates business and it lowers prices and
yeah."
And none of that's really true. Every time you increase tariffs, I don't think anything good has happened.
Correct.
I mean, John Stossel wrote a nice editorial, and he said George Bush raised steel tariffs trying to protect 1,000 jobs, but he destroyed 200,000 other jobs because that's what happens. I just listened to a guy in California. He represented the California steel workers or something, and they buy slab steel by the ton.
Okay.
I don't know what they make, but it sounded like they make like pipes and plumbing and stuff like that. But they buy it in slab. They don't have the facilities on the East Coast, very many, that can mill and make these slabs. He says there's a few on the East Coast that do it, but they usually do it and use it themselves. They don't wholesale or retail it out to other manufacturers. He can only import it from overseas. And he's worried that these tariffs are really going to raise, and especially if we're talking about 25%
on steel, yeah,
and
10% on aluminum.
That, and he says, we won't be able to compete and pass that tax on to our customers.
Where are they getting their steel from?
I want, like Japan? I don't know, somewhere. He says their lobbyists are trying to get them to exempt slab because it's a smaller market and it's really not directly competing with steel. Now, the person that was interviewing brought it up and said, well, if they do that and you have trouble getting it, doesn't that incentivize an American company to start making slab stuff? And
yeah,
he's like, I don't know. He says,
yeah,
it could end up putting a lot of people out of work on the West Coast.
I mean, here's the thing, though. It doesn't apply to Canada and Mexico. Yeah. Canada, we import like 18% of our steel from Canada, which is a huge percentage, right? And China is the country that Trump is so concerned about, having unfair trade. They only send like 2% of our steel to us.
I'm sure it was Indonesia, Asia market that this guy was getting their slab.
I mean, it could have been China, but I'm saying China, we import a really small percentage of all of our steel from China.
Right.
Most of it's from Europe, which is, I mean, that's a huge area on the globe. But that's 21%. Canada just behind it at 18%. Yeah. So huge portions of it aren't going to be taxed.
We have a lot of iron ore domestically as well.
Yeah, for sure.
In Michigan, the UP, lots of iron up there.
Yep.
So I just wanted to throw this out.
Okay, throw it out.
The World Bank estimates that if all barriers to trade, such as tariffs, were eliminated, the global economy would expand by $830 billion. He said usually tariffs increase government revenues, does not offset the losses the increased prices cause consumers and the cost of imposing and collecting the tariffs. So the World Bank doesn't really like tariffs, and they wouldn't. They might be biased somewhat. But the idea, it's a tax, and so somebody's going to pay for that. Either it's going to be the company that eats it and goes out of business if they can't, depending on what their profit margin is. So you lay off and you lose a bunch of jobs. Or they pass it on to the consumer, and the prices go up and don't go down. So it's a bad thing. I don't like tariffs. And the dumping is such a small percentage. That's the other argument is, overseas markets, they'll dump their products on the U.S. They'll sell it below their cost just to get rid of their stock and to dominate a market. Yeah. Okay, good. I get a cheap washer and dryer. So it's good for consumers.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Taxation is theft.
Yep.
And tariffs are taxation.
Right.
So by the transitive property, or
I don't know,
additive, cumulative.
Is that where they change?
If you take the square root,
is that when they're born like at one value and then they decide they want to be another value?
Well, it's not binary.
Oh,
there's 6,432 options when you're born. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't.
That's a fact.
No.
But anyway, yeah, by simple math, tariffs are theft.
Okay, I think we've established that.
That's it.
Let's take a break a little early.
We're like real early because we started late.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot. We got a couple. All right, you want to do this judge?
No, I want you to do your question of the day, or whatever you call it.
You don't want to do
trivia. No. Let's take a break.
All right, let's see. Oh, you mean you're asking for my trivia?
I'm having a rough day. I need something to give me hope that it'll get better.
This is an easy one.
Okay.
You can Google this really easy.
Google all of them.
That's what I'm saying. They're really easy. But don't. That's cheating. Try to figure it out on your own.
Okay, I won't.
All right. What was the first state to join the Union in the 20th century?
Oh, that's a good one.
The first state to join the Union in the 20th century.
There aren't many options. I mean, there's 50, but if you think about it,
you can eliminate over half, probably.
At least half. Yeah. At least 13.
I heard they're going to make Hawaii and Alaska states now. I don't think it'll happen.
Is the answer Canada?
Yeah, the answer is Canada.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Lock it in. And rip the knob off. Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open carry handguns for self-defense. And the Strongs join a growing number of families who are standing up for their Second Amendment right and bringing gun ownership out of the closet. Order your copy of this unique kids book at myparentsopencarry.com.
It's a bumpy ride through the political jungle with Nate and Brian.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
What? Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-219-8770 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-219-8770 to take your call now. Call 877-219-8770. That's 877-219-8770. Again, 877-219-8770.
Whenever I'm feeling a little down under, I can always count on Nate and Brian for their interesting perspective on topics important to freedom and civil rights by listening to the At Odds Show. Nate and Brian cover important topics with insight, intelligence, and of course humor. I can always expect a laugh or two. So if you want to be informed and have a great time, give these guys a listen.
At Odds.
The At Odds Show with the greatest political talk show hosts in history, Nate and Brian. And it's sad that they actually believe that. So give a listen because the delusional need love too.
Are you looking for some way cool t-shirts? Check out ChugDug.com. They have hundreds of crazy fun t-shirts like gun, patriotic, and you better believe zombie shirts. At ChugDug.com, you'll find quality shirts at a quality price. All shirts start at just $10 with free shipping over $50. Mention Radio 1 coupon code at checkout and grab a cool 10% off. That's ChugDug.com. T-shirts with attitude.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-755-9290. That's 800-755-9290. 800-755-9290.
Hi, I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
If you like the At Odds show,
and we know you do,
why not order your very own At Odds t-shirt sizes small to 6XL in a cool black color?
So support our show. Check out the great prices at chugdug.com or head over to our website, atoddshow.com, and click the link.
And unlike listening to our show, you won't be disappointed.
Hello, you're listening to the At Odds show with Nate and Brian.
That's really creepy.
She's sexy.
So I think the question was, what was the first state to join the Union in the 20th century?
The date was September 17th, 1907.
Yeah.
If that helps. Did we have some guesses?
We had 52 guesses.
And one was right.
Well, none of them were right.
No, really? It was Puerto Rico. Our guest even guessed.
Yeah, I mean,
and,
honestly, we have every state listed.
Okay.
There's the right answer. Right. Congratulations. They got the right answer, so I don't think we need to talk about that anymore. So let's move on.
The answer is
all right.
Oklahoma.
Woohoo! Oh, that's actually not on here.
The people of the Indian and Oklahoma territories voted favorably for statehood, and Theodore Roosevelt got it as it went through Congress or whatever they do, and became a state.
Yeah,
in 1907.
I actually don't see that anybody guessed Oklahoma. I was wrong. That's funny.
This could be taken right out of today's page. 1982, the United States accuses the Soviet Union of using poison gas. This time they poisoned over 3,000 Afghans when they were fighting them in the early 80s, using a variety of gases.
Wow.
Some people say it didn't happen. Others said it was an excuse for us to continue our chemical warfare, yada, yada. Soviets are still using toxic gases to assassinate their political dissidents and
yikes,
spies who loved me. All right, so we're going to have attorney Jim Makowski, who is a firearms attorney plus other areas of law. His office is in Dearborn, Michigan. He had praise from another attorney. Attorney Dean Greenblatt said that Jim spends more time in jail than most of his clients.
And I think that's true.
I think that's true. And that's because he cares about them.
That's got to be it, yeah.
And so he's going to talk about the latest lawsuit against Dick's Sporting Goods store. And we have Jim on the phone. Welcome, Jim. Are you there?
Great to be on the show.
Great to have you.
Great to have you.
So you want to tell us a little bit about this case that you filed just a couple days ago?
Yes. So my client is 18 years old. He is a U.S. citizen. He is a law-abiding U.S. citizen and could pass a federal background check if he so chose to. And he went to a Dick's Sporting Goods in Troy, Michigan, and attempted to purchase a shotgun. And he was asked for his ID. He presented his identification to a sales clerk, and the sales clerk said, I can't let you look at a firearm. You're under 21. And my client, quite knowledgeable in the law, points out that this is a violation of his civil rights. And the clerk said, well, that's our store policy. And pushed him away.
I heard they blindfolded him so he couldn't even look at the guns.
Yeah,
that was a joke.
Almost.
Okay.
Jeez. You can't.
Sorry, Jim.
Almost.
So, anyways, they turned him away. So, what recourse does he have?
Well, we have filed a state civil rights lawsuit alleging violations of the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act, and we have 2 counts. The first count is the fact they denied him his right to purchase this firearm since age in Michigan is a protected class.
Okay.
And they are discriminating against 18 to 20-year-olds based solely upon their age.
Okay.
And the second count is the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act actually makes it a crime to even advertise that you are going to discriminate against a protected class.
Ooh.
And there are signs all over the store saying we won't sell a firearm to anyone under 21.
Oh.
And we've all heard about Dick's announcing their nationwide policy.
Sure.
For sure.
So I don't think there's any question that they're violating the law in that regard. Should be.
I don't see them having any defense of this lawsuit whatsoever, to be honest with you.
So what's your client looking for? He just wants to purchase a gun, or is there something else he's trying to get out of this?
We're looking for Dicks to follow the law. They can either sell to all citizens without regard for age, without discriminating against protected class, all citizens who are of legal age, or if they wish to get out of the firearms business in Michigan, if they want to remove every firearm from Dick's Sporting Goods stores in the state of Michigan, that's fine too.
Okay.
But do not violate the civil rights of a protected class while, continuing to sell firearms to other people. It's no different if they are discriminating against Jewish people, if they're discriminating against Arabic people, if they're discriminating against Italians. There's no difference.
Well, a lot of lawsuits involve like harm. What's the harm in this case? Couldn't he just go to another store and buy the gun from a store that's willing to sell it to him?
Well, the harm is to society as a whole when you're violating the rights of a whole protected class. There are a group of people in this state who are being treated unfairly. They're second-class citizens. They are not being afforded the full protection of the law. And Dick's Sporting Goods store is a public accommodation. They are open to the public to sell goods to the public, and the law is quite clear that you cannot withhold the sale of goods or services to a member of a protected class.
For
a discriminatory reason.
Right. So that's the harm to not only him but to society as a whole in that age bracket.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know this wasn't in Michigan, but I see a lot of people mentioning that this is the same. It's exactly like that Christian baker that refuses to sell a cake to a gay couple for their wedding or something. Do you see any comparison to be made there?
There's some parallels without question. I think that our case is stronger than that case actually, because the Christian baker was being asked to commission a product just for that one gay couple to purchase. So they were not just selling a cake that they had on the shelf. The baker's attorneys could have argued, I don't know if they did argue, that there should be an exception here because it was, a craftsmanship issue. They had to actually devote their own time and energy to manufacture that product. In this instance, it's just simply goods for sale. So I think that case is legally more defensible than this one. And the Supreme Court ultimately ruled in favor of, or they're considering it. All the courts thus far have sided with the gay couple.
Yeah, which you wouldn't think. Yeah. Okay. So actually, not really that close. I mean, other than refusing service to someone.
Issue.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a civil rights issue. It's a refusal of service, but I think there's a nuance to that case that is not present in this one. This one is straight sale of goods.
So I think it was just filed yesterday or the day before. What's next, and how quick do you think we'll see some action out of this?
So next is to get the complaint served, and the complaint will be served before Monday, and then they have 21 or 28 days to file a response. It'll probably be 28 days to file a written response, and my plan is to file a motion for summary judgment as soon as they respond, because really I don't see how they have any possible defense that will survive.
What there's another case, as you're well aware, in Oregon, of I think a 19-year-old suing a Dick's store out there as well as a Walmart. He was refused at both of those places for being able to buy a firearm.
Sure.
And they have a similar state law, I think, on discrimination. So it'll be interesting to see.
I believe they do. I believe they do. I don't know the particulars of that lawsuit. I was drafting mine while they were filing theirs.
Yeah.
So I was second to file, I believe.
Yeah, you were.
We captured our denial on video.
Ah.
We've got a video recording of the denial, and my client demanding that his civil rights not be infringed upon by the store, and that was met by indifference and
sure.
Sorry, that's our policy.
Yeah, this poor salesperson doesn't have any say in that. That's a corporate decision.
No, and one would think that that Dick's Sporting Goods has a legal department that would have advised them against this.
You would think so, depending on how the legal department feels.
Or they ignore their legal department.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Are you saying there are people that don't listen to their attorneys?
Not only are there people who do not listen to their attorneys, sometimes they tell untruths to their attorneys.
Oh, no.
Not in this instance, but, it's shocking, but sometimes clients lie to me.
Yeah. I find that hard to believe.
That's not helpful, is it?
No. I actually, when I'm representing someone in a criminal case, I actually make them sign a retainer agreement that says that you will not lie to me, you will tell me the truth, or I will withdraw from the case and keep your money.
Yeah.
So
smart. Sound like a lawyer drew that up for you.
And they still lie to me.
Did a lawyer draw that up for you?
You know those lawyers.
Oh, I know it, yeah. Let's see. Anything else you want to add to that case? Because we can move on to two other subjects, if you've got a couple minutes.
We've had a lot of people accuse us of just going and showing up at the store looking to provoke a lawsuit. I prefer to look at it as my client went to the store to give Dick's an opportunity to obey the law, which they failed to do.
Right. Same kind of people that say, well, if you're open carrying, you're just baiting the police to have to come out there. You're just baiting them, and, you don't have to do that or this, and they're blaming sort of the victim.
It's amazing that the progressive socialist movement, they like all the rest of the rights contained in the Bill of Rights, but they kind of don't want to. They want to skip right past that Second Amendment.
Well, and now they're going after the First as well, because they're wanting to deny people the right to speak on college campuses and around the country. Disrupting speeches.
I heard a commentator yesterday refer to the Antifa group as the anti-First Amendment group.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yep.
So it's going both ways. The Second Amendment March at Lansing State Capitol is coming up in June. Are you going to be on the legal panel? Have you been approached?
I have been told by the powers that be that as long as there's a Second Amendment March, I am a designated speaker. So I will be on the legal panel, and I will be speechifying that day.
Good.
All right.
Good.
We're looking forward to that.
Let's see. Oh, and also you're on. How much time do we have, Nate? About 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. You're on another case that's important to the state of Michigan. That's actually going before the Michigan Supreme Court, I hear, and that is a law school against the Ann Arbor School District about allowing concealed pistol holders to open carry in and on school property. What's the update on that?
Sure. A real quick background on that case, we filed a lawsuit. Under Michigan law, there's a nuance in the law that you can only carry a pistol on school grounds if you have a license to carry a concealed pistol, but to do so, you have to carry the firearm openly. So a license to carry concealed gives you the right to carry openly on a school campus, on school property. And the trial court and the Court of Appeals have both ruled that essentially that schools can make up their own rules, that somehow they are exempt from the laws of the state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
The Michigan Supreme Court has granted us oral argument. We argue the case in the April term, which is either April 10th or 11th, before the Michigan Supreme Court, and we're going to see how they rule. We're quite hopeful that the law is on our side. The arguments presented by the Ann Arbor Public Schools and the Michigan Association of School Boards, they're essentially emotional arguments, which
makes sense.
Lack sense. They lack legal precedent. They're overturning 20 years of precedent, if not more, in those decisions. And if you read the sum total of the hundreds of pages that have been filed, you can just sum it up as we don't like guns.
Yeah. What now? There's another. That case is being helped by Michigan gun owners. There's another case, Michigan open carry, I guess, with the Clio schools. Exactly a similar case, and that is sort of conjoined
yes.
to be heard. So
we filed our lawsuit against Ann Arbor Public Schools. My good friend and colleague Dean Greenblatt filed on behalf of Michigan Open Carry against the Clio area schools in mid-Michigan. And those cases have been combined since the Court of Appeals level. The judge in Genesee County, where that action was filed, was a little bit more pro-Constitution and ruled in favor of Michigan Open Carry. The school district appealed. My case was filed in Washtenaw County in Ann Arbor, and
very liberal.
Perhaps that judge doesn't pay enough attention to the Constitution.
Yeah.
And I lost at the trial court, so they were joined at the Court of Appeals level, and the Court of Appeals ruled against both of us.
Yeah. But it's a good sign that the Supreme Court is willing to listen to the arguments, because this sort of contradicts a Court of Appeals case with the Capital Area District libraries. It's along similar veins, so it'll be interesting to see how they rule on this. Also, isn't there yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there's another suit against the University of Michigan for the same.
And I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
The interesting part about that case is that's also pending before the Michigan Supreme Court, but in the granting of oral argument on our case, the Supreme Court put a stay on that appeal pending the outcome of our case, because the Supreme Court believes that the ruling in our case will at least partially resolve issues on that appeal. And if I were to be a betting man, I would say that signals positive treatment for our case at this level.
So I gather, let's say the Supreme Court overturns the Court of Appeals and says schools can't ban guns. Does that sort of automatically then help the U of M case or not?
So the U of M case is based upon two factors: the school issue, and what makes them a little bit distinct is they have a special provision in the Michigan Constitution which grants them specific powers.
Yeah.
That issue would still maybe need to be addressed on appeal, but it certainly will go a long way towards resolving that case as well.
That would be interesting. Well, so is your gut feeling that the Court of Appeals will be overruled?
I believe they will be.
Yeah.
I think the law is on our side. We've spent countless hours doing research on this and preparing for this, and the law is on our side.
Okay.
Is all I can say. The 20, 30, 40 years of precedent is on our side.
Okay, good. Anything else, Nate?
I don't think so. I think we're getting close to time, though. We'll let you have the last word, and if you have a website or anything you want to plug go
your
for
office,
it.
Go ahead.
Sure. My website is www.makowskilegal, MAKOWSKILEGAL.com. If anyone needs legal services anywhere in the state of Michigan for criminal defense, and obviously with regard to firearms issues, I travel all over the state every day.
Well, we really appreciate go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. Thank you guys for having me on.
Well, we really appreciate your time. We know what you charge an hour, so we really appreciate sparing it. And I know you're awfully busy these last few days, so we really want to thank you for taking the time to do this.
And not only that, thank you for the work you're doing. I mean, even with your hourly rate that Brian apparently knows.
I don't know what it is.
No, really, it's important work, and I appreciate it.
Plus your volunteer work with the Second Amendment March and all that. You do that on your own time, and we really appreciate it.
It's amazing.
That. Thank you very much.
Well, I believe in fighting for our rights.
Yeah.
Is the bottom line.
Yep.
So, thank you guys.
Have a good night.
Right. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Well, that was nice.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was very good.
He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, he really is. Do you know his hourly rate?
No, I don't.
I was going to say I don't.
I think it's millions of dollars.
Millions.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Jeez.
No, I have no idea. Yeah. It's hard to get a lawyer for under a couple $100 an hour nowadays. So I suspect he's more than that.
Of course it is.
Well, I had one like 15, 20 years ago. It was like $90 an hour.
How'd the case turn out?
I lost.
Right.
I lost. So let's see. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
That's a good rundown of what's going on with those two cases, though. So hopefully that'll help people. You want to talk about the judge?
Yes.
He did a bad thing.
Which judge?
In Tarrant County, Texas.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
So apparently, I guess, some prisoners, when they come in to court, they're shackled, obviously, and sometimes they have a stun belt.
Yeah, this is messed up when I read this.
It goes around
like,
their legs.
Hell?
So if they get sort of, if they get up and try to run away or whatever, they can shock them. Or if they try to get violent or whatever.
Yep.
But here's a case of a guy that device was used as a punishment for refusing to answer a judge's question properly. He didn't like it. This is in 2014. He was charges of soliciting sexual performance from a 15-year-old girl. Yeah. It was a nasty case. But the court shocked him 3 times, sending 3,000 volts through his body.
Jeez.
Because he kept telling the deputy or the bailiffs, there, shock him. I don't like the way he's answering. Shock him. And this was a suit, and it went to the Court of Appeals. And it has now thrown out the guy's conviction on the grounds that the shocks he received violated his constitutional rights.
Yeah.
Because he was too scared to come back to the courtroom, so he didn't reappear and go to the court.
Yeah, and so he didn't get to face the witnesses, the accusers. It was,
all of that stuff.
Got it. Makes sense. That's horrible.
So I think there's going to be a new trial, though. So he's
probably a new trial.
Yeah.
I mean, look, so...
That's sort of
judge,
like medieval.
First of all, it's what the hell? That's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, let the bailiffs and the police officers carry a stun gun or a taser if they think they need it.
Don't use it in this capacity.
Right. Because he didn't answer your questions properly. Right. So not only...
It was a form of punishment.
Not only is that, like, horrible
contempt of judge.
Torture, contempt of judge, but this guy who probably... I don't want to say that. He might be guilty from trying to have sex with a 15-year-old.
He may deserve shocks.
He may deserve shocks, but he got it dropped, and so,
a lot of money lost.
Exactly.
And they scolded the judge, and I don't know if he's still a judge or not.
Scolded.
They scolded him.
Jeez. All right. Well, we're close to being out of time, so adoddshow.com, facebook.com/adoddshow.
Can I do anything?
2, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, are you doing it?
Johnny Walker, Red?
We're out of time.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.